Good day, friends. Welcome to our second discussion on who is God. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Lincoln, and what I intend to do is to have these discussions rather, looking in the scriptures to see what God has said about himself, so that we know that when we refer to God, God identifies himself with the male gender. He also identifies himself as one. And God inspired the man Moses to write these accounts in the book of Genesis. So let us go to the book of Genesis. It says here in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. God, not gods. So God identifies himself from the very first verse as a single being. In verse 2 it says, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3, and God said. Verse 4, and God saw. And God called. Verse 5. Verse 6, and God said. And verse 7, and God made. Verse 8, and God called. And verse 9, and God said. And verse 10, and God called. Verse 11, and God said. So what we're seeing here is not only did God identify himself as a single being, but that he spoke all into existence. All into existence. So God is creating based on his will, his desire. He's not counseling with anyone. He's doing this all through his own desires. Verse 12, and God saw. Verse 14, and God said. Verse 16, and God made. Verse 17, and God set. Verse 18, and God saw. And verse 20, and God said. Verse 21, and God created. So as we look, all we see is what the Hebrews or the Jews saw. A singular God creating all things according to his will, not needing to counsel with anyone, identifying himself with the male gender and identifying himself as one. You see, folks, in the academic circle, when you are looking for answers, your questions must be well formed. I said, when you're looking for answers, your questions must be well formed. And the more detailed your question is, the more detailed will be your answer. So the quality of your question determines the quality of your answer. See, even the title, Who is God, is very broad. Because I've said in the first discussion, God to some people means many different things. But God to me simply means one supreme being. My intellect, my common sense tells me that God is a single being. But I'm not relying on my common sense. I will only rely on Scripture to prove this to me. And what I love about the one true God, if you want to find him, he will make himself known to you. He will come to you, and he will knock on the door of your heart. Reach out to him today. It doesn't matter where you are on this planet. God will make himself known to you. I pray that these words are encouraging to you as you continue with me with this quest in this discussion to find out Who is God? Join me next time as we continue with our discussion. Once again, my name is Lincoln, and to stay in the know, please hit the bell so that you can be updated whenever I post a video. God bless you.